Okay, cool. So if you could drop your IG handle in the comment or the chat box for me, we're gonna go over some Instagram tips today, and then we're gonna have some action items at the end of the call to help you start implementing what we're going to teach you. And then I will create a success pod where you are all going to do your action item and you're going to share it into that success pod on Instagram so we can all go and love on your post. Okay, so welcome to tonight's team call. It is Monday, October 8th. This is the Girl Boss Empire and Living Healthy and Fit team call. We are going to be going over some short little tips to help you start growing your Instagram. Some of my girls already know some of these tips because I talk about them often, but they're very important to know because Instagram is really where businesses are booming and where you can really connect with a whole new market of people. Maybe you're a newer coach and your family's really not on board, or your best friends just really don't want to invest, or you don't have like a mom or a dad or a sister or a brother to help you get your business up and going. And so you're kind of finding that you need to start connecting with more of a cold market off of the bat. Okay, this is where we are going to help you start learning those steps. So first and foremost, whatever we do, we need to be consistent in what we do, okay? So when it comes to posting, I know that adding these new things to your plate can be a little bit overwhelming, and a lot of us, if not all of us, will go all in and then we get really overwhelmed and then we go all out like, what the hell was I just doing? I can't keep up with everything, and you start to shut down, right? Worst thing we can do though for our business, because it shows such inconsistency to our followers, okay? Our followers want to come to us and know that we're showing up every day. Just like if you go to Starbucks and you want your coffee, they better be open, right? You don't want to go to Starbucks and they're open, then they're closed, and then they're open, they're closed, and they're random. You want to know that when you go there to get what you want, they're open all the time. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be on social media 24/7. It just means that you need to be consistent in growing your business and connecting with your followers, okay? So maybe that's just posting one time a day on your Instagram, okay? I encourage you to start working towards 1 to 3 times a day, but don't feel like, oh my gosh, she said 3 times. I have to post 3 times a day, every single day. I don't know what to post about, and let yourself get into this tizzy of not knowing what to do and then shutting down, okay? Start with 1 good, valuable post a day. All right. And then start building off of that as you have more things to talk about, as you become more confident in your story and sharing more about your story, about the struggles that you're facing, more growth in the business. All of those things are different topics to talk about. Okay. So I want you to think about posting consistently and aiming for at least 1 good, valuable post a day. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about hashtags because we all know Instagram is hashtags, right? What do we use? How do we use them? Okay, take a deep breath, because hashtags, there's a learning curve, okay? And you just have to kind of play around with it. Right now, I personally am going through this phase where I have a ton of other Beachbody coaches following me, and I'm like, where are they getting me from? It's got to be one of the tags that I'm using pretty consistently. So I have to play around with that. Does that mean I'm failing and that I should just stop? No, it just means I have to adjust my sales a little bit, right? I'm not connecting with exactly the market I'm looking for with the new tags I've been using. So I'm going to revamp them a little bit. So one thing that I have been using very consistently that I think is super helpful is using hashtags in your stories. Now, this is something I learned from my friend Heather. Obviously, we all know that if you go to your stories and you pull the little thing down or up, whichever way it is, it gives you like, you could do the GIF, you can do the time, you can do a hashtag, right? And it'll let you make one tag. You can also go just like you're typing text, and you can type out your hashtags or copy and paste them from your note section of your phone. And, okay, so you type them out. I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second. You can type them all out, And then when you hit the space button, you'll see that little, where all the little colors are at the bottom. Have you ever seen the little one that's like a little eyedropper type of a symbol all the way to the left? That's where you can touch anywhere in your picture and it'll give you the exact color of where you touched so that you can customize the color. So what you do is you touch that, you touch where you want to hide your tags to make it that color. You minimize them with your fingers by pinching it, super, super tiny, and they're hidden in your picture. Nobody ever knows that they're there. Super helpful to use more than one tag on your stories and reach a whole new network of people. Okay. You don't want to do that on every single Instagram story post or, every story that you add, but you want to do it a couple times a day. Okay. Because it's going to broaden your reach. Okay. So putting your tags hidden in your stories. Tag everything, you guys, everything. But also research your tags a little bit by going to the search and searching what you're tagging. And actually, if you go to the little search button when you are on your Instagram, if you start typing in a certain tag that you're looking for, it'll automatically populate other tags that are related to that one so that you can very quickly start scanning different tags that are related to your niche. Okay. The reason I say search them is because you never know what a certain tag is. And I know Dawn has heard this before, but you would think that fitness girls is fitness and girls who are into fitness. Not at all. Okay. So if I wouldn't have researched that first and I would have started tagging my stuff, I would have been bringing a really not wanted network of people to my page. Okay. So just be mindful of what you're using. Some helpful tips for you when you're using tags. When you're searching them, it tells you how many pictures or how many times that tag has been used, correct? It gives you the number underneath. You want to use the tags that have like 10 to 15K. You want to make sure it has enough traction to it that you're connecting with new people, but you also don't want it so popular that your stuff's getting lost right away as soon as it's posted. Okay. So you want one that's established, but you don't want one that's super, super popular. What you do want to use the super popular ones for is finding people. Okay. Because we aren't just going to post and expect people to come to us. We're going to use and take note of those hashtags that are related to our niche and look like our target market that have the 100,000, 200,000, 400,000 plus people posting to it. And that's where we're going to go to find new friends. Okay. Does that make sense so far with what we're using hashtags and how we're using them? As far as when you're actually making a post, I've heard a lot of different things. Put the tags in your actual content or poster content and then go back and put it directly in the first comment. There's not a whole lot of what's right or wrong. I've also heard that it's really just personal preference. So I kind of have been playing around with changing it up to see if it changes the engagement that I get on posts. So I just actually today went back to putting it in my content again to see if it makes a difference. So I don't know yet, but those are things that we have to just kind of play around with and see what's bringing traction to your page. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is stories. You guys, stories are hot. That's people. It's so easy for people to just watch your stories and get to know you. Like, it doesn't have to be a super pretty picture. When you're making a post on Instagram, it should be super well lit. It should be edited a little bit so that it's pretty and it's eye-catching and it's vibrant. You want to try and use the same filter all the time on your pictures when you're posting on your Instagram stories so that everything just, or on your Instagram profile, so that everything just kind of flows. With stories, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. I try to use the same filter with all of mine just because I like that look, but you don't have to do that. That's the beauty of stories. It's the raw version of you. It's people getting to know you and what you do in your daily life. Okay. So you don't have to put a ton of thought into it, but we should be working to post on our Instagram stories 6 to 10 times a day. Okay. just a little bit of you throughout the day. What are you doing? Okay. Show a little bit of your life. Don't be afraid to talk on your Instagram stories. If you're just doing like the normal, you can only do 15-second little increments. And what I will do is I will do a 15-second, I will save it to my camera roll, and I will finish my thought and just keep saving the 15 seconds. And then I will go back and post them. Okay. So I'm not like talking for 15 seconds, editing it and doing everything to it and posting it, and then talking another 15 seconds and having to like jog my memory on what I finished with and where I should start back up in my conversation. I'm just going to talk, save it, finish talking, save it again, and then go back and post them. Does that make sense? Because when you hit the save button, it saves to your camera roll. Okay. Then you can go back and do all your editing and add your hashtags and all of that. Use polls. Use polls to get engagement and people to answer you. And it could be something like, I have this new favorite salad dressing that I've been using, and I posted, have you ever tried this? Or I'm going to now, or something like that, just to get people to have conversation with you and your story. Okay. It's super easy for them to click on. When you're doing something about a challenge group and you use a poll, only give them a yes or a yes answer. It doesn't have to be yes and yes, but like yes, or I'm in, with like the girl putting her hands up or something like that. Okay. So that way it's both positive answers. Okay. Ask questions. There's that new little box that you can add, and it allows them to drop you a question. Once a week, do like question of the day or something like that. Let them get to know you a little bit. And if you've never used that feature before, you don't get the polls or the questions in your DM box. Okay. I made that mistake when the questions first came out. I thought they would go to my DM. They actually are right in your post. So does everybody know how to look at their stories and see who viewed it? When you can see who viewed it, that's where the questions will be and who asked the question. That's also where the responses for your polls will be and who responded. Okay. Those are the people we want to reach out to, right? They're coming to us and engaging, so we need to engage back. We need to go back to them, which leads me into engagement, okay? We need to make sure that we're reaching out and connecting with the people who are following our story. You can see all their names. You can see all their handles. You can very easily click on their name, see if there's somebody that you relate to and that's in your target market, and start a conversation with them. And something that's even cooler now is that if they do respond to a poll or a question or anything like that, you can actually hit the arrow button and direct message them off of that particular poll, so they know exactly what poll or what slide you're referring to when you say, hey girl, thanks for the love on my poll the other day, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It gives them the screenshot just like you see it. Okay. So make sure you're connecting with the people who are engaging on your Instagram stories. You also want to start connecting with people who are following you and follow them back. Okay. You want to engage with them and like and comment on their things, not just expect them. It's not a one-sided relationship. Okay. Who likes a one-sided friendship? I don't. If they stop asking me how I'm doing, I'm not going to go out of my way to ask you, right? I got other things to do. So you want to make sure that you're following people back if they're your niche and engaging with them, loving on their posts, different things like that. Take 5 minutes before you go to bed at night and just watch other people's stories and shoot them a couple hearts, or look through your Instagram feed and shoot them a little bit of love. It doesn't have to take oodles of time. Okay. When you're sitting on the pot and you got a couple extra minutes, do it then. I mean, there's all kinds of pockets of time. Let's be honest here. Okay. Or you're watching Netflix and you really don't need to watch it, but you just kind of want to do something mindless. Okay. There's all kinds of opportunity that you can fit something like that in. And then obviously you want to connect with the people who are engaging on your actual posts, whether they are commenting or not. If they are liking, we need to be engaging with them. And so when I was putting all those points of engagement down, I was reminded of Bob Heilig, which is, he does leadership, legacy leadership. I'm going to screw that up. Is that it? Legacy leadership. Yes. And he also does a podcast that's called Your Virtual Upline. If you are not subscribed to that podcast, get on it because he is amazing, you guys. But he says attraction marketing can be the death of our business. Because just because we're attracting people and getting maybe a lot of likes or a little bit of engagement or a lot of engagement, that's not where the work ends. Okay? That's just the beginning of it. That's when we need to reach out to those people and put the work in. We need to build that relationship. We need to build that trust because they're already engaging. There's already interest there. They're already aware of what we're doing and they're following us for a reason. Okay. So that's where we need to take it a step further and start that private conversation with them and building that relationship. Okay. Cool. Do we have any questions so far? No? All right, cool. I'm going to pass it to Lee, and she's going to talk to you guys a little bit about cleaning up your Instagram and also a little bit about our action item for tonight. Okay?
All right. So something that I read, gosh, it was a few weeks ago. The person said, if your business was based solely on, all of a sudden I got a dog under my legs. It was solely based on your comments on your posts, how would your business look? And I was like, nobody comments on my posts. I get a lot of likes, and to add to Corey's, you have to build that relationship. Again, if my business would not exist if I was not private messaging people. So you have to get that conversation. Like that post is just like kind of your entryway. It's like knocking at the door, and you have to ask somebody, into your house to get to know them. So you've got to get them into your messenger. And the way to do that is like I got into a copyright course to help me focus on how do I write to get people to engage with me. And I think Instagram more so than other social media options is a lot of, I call it, I'm like so bad. I don't think we have any like true like millennials. Like if you describe like that millennial group, they're all, what's in it for me? It's all about me. So when somebody is looking at your Instagram page, they are wanting to know what's in it for me. So if your page is all, here's my sweaty selfie, I got this workout in today, drinking my superfood shakes, they don't care. They want to know what's in it for me. Like, why should I be engaging in this content? So you want to start asking questions. Nate's in this group with me. That's how we connected. And so I am just learning so much through that training and taking a few extra minutes, write out your posts. So this is what I've been doing. I've been writing out my posts and then I read it. And it's, is this all about me? Is it I and me and my, or is this about them? Are you asking them a question that they can relate to? Now I'm just getting started in this. But I forget what the heck my post said today, but I was super proud of it. Hold on, I'm going to open it really quick. I'm in, Corey, I started up that pod. I asked, how many times have you started a diet and not told anyone because you were afraid you would fail? Like all of a sudden people, like I was like, how many times have you guys started a nutrition plan? And you're like, I'm not going to tell anybody because then I've got to be accountable. And it was all about kind of, the accountability side of a challenge group. So you've got to start with what is going to get them to respond so that they can, like, comment. You've got to end with some call to action on a lot of the posts. Like, get them to like, what do you relate to? Maybe it's a quote, like what's your favorite motivational quote? Who's your, somebody that has such amazing quotes? What book are you reading? Just something that gets people engaging. That's the whole point of the Instagram side and social media. It's to get people talking. You do, as Corey mentioned, want to take it another step with your pictures. That's you. Like, I can't tell you. Meg and I have had this conversation. Meg's like, you got to show sweaty selfies. And I'm like, no, I do not, because I see a post with a whole bunch of sweaty selfies and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what, like, that's awesome. What's in it for me? Like, that is fantastic that you have all those sweaty selfies. Like, what other things? I love, like, interior stuff. I love clean desks and stuff. So I do pay a little extra to have some stock photos so that I have something. I use the app Visco, VSCO, to kind of quickly edit my pictures. I know exactly, like, I've played around with it, so I know exactly what to change with brightness and contrast, and you'll learn that stuff. But take those few extra seconds, because Instagram is like a magazine. It's somebody's first spot of like, do I want to follow this page? The other thing you want to double check is your page all product? And not to bash another company, but how many of us have followed somebody that does, and I pick on them, they're super nice people, Rodan and Fields. Like, all their pages is their stock photos of what, like, buy this blemish product, buy this thing, and you see it. So I will look at somebody and they're following me on Instagram. I'm like, oh, their like profile picture is so cute. And then I go to their page and it's all product. And the first thing I do is like, that's awesome. I'm not going to follow them back, because Dawn's looking and going, look at your Instagram page. Like, I know I always like hesitate, but I like it that when people come to me and they're like, what in the world do you sell? Like, they have no idea what I'm selling in terms of health and fitness. There's another girl I'm following that her page is awesome. I'm like, dude, you're selling something and I don't know what it is. And I'm just so intrigued by what she's doing, but I want to stay far enough away so I don't get the message being like, hey, I see you stalking all my photos. But if you're just doing like all beach body, all sweaty selfie pictures, you're not giving people a really great sense of what you have to offer, and they're quickly deciding, is this going to be a page that I'm going to follow or is it not? The other thing they're going to look at is your bio. Please don't have your Beachbody link on your bio. Linktree is an awesome source. What I have done is because I have a lot of my coaches be like, what should I offer as like a free thing to get people into your network? I have a Facebook group that is a free Facebook group. I have questions in there that say, you know, hey, what are your health and fitness goals? What are your struggles? Are you working with a Beachbody coach? So they have to answer those questions before I let them like in the group. So I just have, hey, join my free accountability group. It's something there for them that's free, that's going to get them to click on your bio, and another way for you to get that conversation going. Not everybody fills out the questions. And something else I had learned from somebody, they're like, if they are not going to answer 3 little questions to get into your group, they have a page in your group, they are not going to pay attention. So I will send them a message and be like, hey, thanks so much for, wanting to join our group. I saw you didn't answer the questions. What are your health and fitness goals? And unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, they never respond. But I'm like, you know what? They're not ready yet, and we'll just keep connecting in another way. So, check out your bio. What is in it for them? Why should they want to follow you? What is it about you that makes you a little bit different? And I will tell you, one thing that I got so hung up on was I have to have this perfect bio. And you guys, I spend way too much on trainings. And so I've invested in so many Instagram trainings and still struggle with it. And every single time I am with some other Instagram influencer, they're like, change your bio to this. So nobody has a magic solution. You are going to play around with it a million times to see what works best for you. I've done, I'm a wife, a mom, founder of the Girl Boss Empire. Now I'm trying switching it up I forget what it is right now, but just like a little bit about me that people are like, oh, she's going to have health and fitness, and she's also going to have like lifestyle stuff, because frankly, I'm trying to sell a lifestyle in terms of health and fitness, but also we need to talk about the coaching side of things. Like, what is coaching offering you now or in the future? What are you working towards? And you want to share that. You want people to be like, oh, I want that lifestyle. Like, that girl has that on her dream board. Like, sign me up. What is it that you're doing? So you want to share, you want to look at that content. So you're, what's in it for them, giving them tips, giving them a reason to interact. You have that bio. And then I'll just share the quick last thing that I have learned, kind of from this copyright course is we talk, I think, a lot about the benefits or the features of joining, like purchasing our product. You get Beachbody On Demand for a full year. You get access to all the workouts. You get this superfood Shakeology. Start asking yourself, why do they care about that? So I put in that one, like people struggling with accountability. And when I just put a little blurb in there, like I was a new working mom. Like I did not have time to go to a gym. So the fact that I could do a workout at home in my basement was the perfect solution for me, because I was busy, because I had to work out at 4:00 in the morning in order to get it done. And so instead of focusing on, hey, you get a workout that you only have to work out 4 days a week, 30 to 40 minutes, why will that help them? Why does that benefit them? And why is that important to them? Maybe they know they need to work out. They know they'll feel better if they work out, but they just do not have the time to, commit to an hour in the gym. So now you've just told them like, hey, like busy moms, I love this program because I get 3 freaking rest days a week because I'm done within 40 minutes. And they're like, what? Like you had, those phenomenal results from only doing that. Like that is amazing. So start thinking about, what's in it for them, but really why do they care versus the 30 to 40 minute workout, 4 days a week. So, hopefully that made sense. This is I'm like, Corey, I have nothing to add with Instagram. So what we want you to do now is to create a post on Instagram, and we wanted all of your handles so that we can go back and engage with each other's posts. So now, like, as we're all engaging, other people will start engaging on those posts. So figure out, get out your phones and go for it. Corey, add your little 2 cents.
No, that was super, super helpful. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, just because we started a little bit later. Hopefully that will be okay with everybody since my son has hockey. It allows me to get home. I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes, and let's all make a call to action post. So share about something that, what has a challenge group done for you? What have the programs done for you? Talk about what has changed. Just like Leanne was just explaining, like when her and I were talking, she was talking about how people are like, oh, Shakeology, I've got this on the go meal, blah, blah, blah. But why? Because I'm a busy mom, because I don't have time to sit down and have lunch or whatever, because I'm going X, Y, and Z, and it gives me the energy to get through my day. So think about what is changing for you right now, what you feel good about, and then have a call to action at the end asking them to join you. Or have you ever felt like this? You don't always have to make the call to action at the bottom, you guys. It can be at the very beginning. It can be like, I have felt so overwhelmed and tired lately. I just can't seem to get ahead. I don't know what's going on with me. Have you ever felt like that? Asking a question to get them to engage. Okay. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 and let's craft a post. And then you're going to, once you make the post, you're going to hit the little arrow button on Instagram and it'll say send. and you can send it directly to the engagement pod because she already added us all into an engagement pod. And then we can just click on the post and you can go and love on everybody's post. It makes it super, super simple. Okay. All right, cool. 5 minutes. All right, loves. That wraps up our 5 minutes. So if you haven't finished crafting your post, that's totally fine. Make sure you finish that up tonight. And then, like I said, once you make that post, and where you see the little comment bubble, there's the little arrow. You just click that, and you can search. If the engagement pod doesn't pop up, you can search it, and it'll come up. Click it, and hit send, and it'll go right to the group. Okay. All right. Do you have any final thoughts, Mama?
I would say I'll try and keep this short. I was talking to Corey about this as we were prepping for this call. You have to be intentional with Instagram. I feel for me, Facebook has always been my go-to, and so it's natural for me to just feel connected with people. But I have to remind myself that took time. Like, I didn't get to know the followers I have on Facebook by just showing up once in a while. Like, it was every single day showing up. So I would encourage you to, and this is what I'm going to do, and so hold me accountable to it. If you see me, or like, feel free to send me a message and be like, are you doing it? Set aside like 2 or 3 days a week where you're going to focus on Instagram engagement and really getting to know people. I feel like it's one, I say I struggle with it because I'm like, it's a handle that, a lot of people don't have their full names, and it's hard to get connected with whatever, like whatever crazy name. But just spend that time and know that it's going to take time and it's going to take effort. Corey didn't just start rocking Instagram. Like, she didn't wake up and was like, all right, let's do this. And all of a sudden she has you have almost 5,000 followers, right? Over.
No, but that has taken time, and some of those were through a paid service. So that's not all me grinding like I am now, because those services aren't available now. And honestly, those weren't my niche anyway. So I'll gain 10 or 20 people, and then I'll lose those 10 or 20 people. So maybe here's another point too. Don't stress about the people who leave. If you see your numbers start dropping, do not let that stress you out. That just means you're weeding out the people who are not your niche anyway. Okay. So don't let that stress you out, because that used to stress me out when I'm trying to gain my following. I'm trying to build and get to 10K so that they can get the swipe up and you have more engagement and blah, blah, blah. And my numbers keep dropping. Well, but you're finding the people who you really want to work with and who connect with you and your story. So don't let that discourage you. It does take time.
If you find that it's discouraging you, I've talked to Meg about this. She's like, I can't know that. But there is an app. It's a Apple app, I think. It's followers. That's all it is. And if you click it, it will tell you who has followed you and who has unfollowed you. And so when I was struggling with oh my gosh, I just hit a milestone. Oh, great. Where did they go? What did I do? I started paying attention to who unfollowed me. And it was bigger pages that were trying to get me to follow them back. They weren't going to be with 100,000 followers trying to be besties with Leanne and join her team. So it helped me to know hey, that's not my person. And it helped me keep in check, I'm not following them, or, I unfollow people, or there may be people I want to fight for. So if you find you're struggling with it, check out that app. It's free. And it just helps. But again, if it's going to stress you out, then don't do it. And don't care about that. Focus on the engagement. Focus on the people that are liking and commenting on your posts. And sorry, I'm going to add one more quick one because it just came to me. Somebody else told me this. When to improve engagement, if people comment on a post, maybe Corey did a post with that new salad dressing, and it was an actual post. And she would the person's oh, that looks good, I'll have to try it. Corey could respond and be oh, awesome, I can't wait to hear what you think. What are some of your favorite salad dressings? To get them engaged, to get them to be oh, she's actually paying attention to this and she wants to hear from me, versus a canned thanks so much. There are so many paid services now with Instagram that people see that coming from a mile away. So ask questions, and that just only improves the engagement. But be focused, be intentional about it, and know it's going to take time, and just have fun with the process. That's it.
Cool. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to reach out to Leanne or myself, or ask in the new coach group. This was very, very basic. You guys, we could do hours of training over Instagram alone because there's so many different apps and different tools that you can use. But we wanted to give you some things that you can start taking action with right now to help start growing your following and creating that consistency. Okay? Cool. All right. I think that's it. We'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for making the time to be on the call. We'll talk with you later.